Scorpio, they are afraid of you. Not the obvious fear expressed through words or direct actions. It's something much deeper and more disturbing. It's the fear of those who look at you and see the future unfolding before their very eyes. They can see exactly what you are becoming, and this terrifies them because they know they won't be able to keep up. They won't be able to catch up. They won't be able to compete. And above all, they won't be able to stop you. Because what you are becoming is not something ordinary. It's not a slightly improved version of who you were. It's such a radical, profound, absolute transformation that the person you will be in a few months will have almost nothing in common with who you were until now. And what's most disturbing for them, this transformation is inevitable. There is no force in the universe capable of stopping it. You can try to resist, you can question, you can have doubts, but that won't change anything. You will become what you are destined to be, and they already know it. Can you feel the tension in the air when they realize you are ceasing to be someone they could understand, control, or predict? Let me tell you exactly what they see when they look at you right now. They see someone who is developing a level of personal power that borders on the supernatural. Not power in the superficial sense of influence or status, but real power. That kind of magnetic energy that makes people stop what they're doing when you enter a room. That kind of presence that can't be ignored, no matter how hard they try. That kind of inner strength that makes you an unavoidable point of reference, even if nobody wants to admit it out loud. They see someone who is learning to use their intensity not as a curse, but as a superpower. For years, they probably tried to convince you that you were too much. Too intense, too deep, too demanding, too emotional. And you, trying to fit in, tried to tone down that intensity, tried to be lighter, more superficial, easier to digest. But something changed. You stopped trying to fit in. You started to fully embrace that intense nature that has always been yours. And now you are discovering that this intensity, when channeled correctly, makes you absolutely unstoppable. They see someone building a life that doesn't need anyone's approval, a life based on their own terms, guided by their own values, fueled by their own vision. And that scares them because for a long time they had some level of influence over you. Their opinions mattered, their judgments affected your decisions, their approval was something you sought, even unconsciously. But now you're becoming someone who simply doesn't care what they think. And that radical independence is terrifying for those who are used to having some power over you. For Scorpios born between October 23rd and November 2nd, this transformation is specifically related to your financial and material power. They can already see that you are about to reach a level of abundance and stability that will put you in a completely different position. And this bothers them because they know that when you get there, you won't need them for absolutely anything anymore. For those born between November 3rd and 12th, the transformation is about influence and recognition. You are becoming a reference in your field, someone people will seek out, follow, and admire. And they already feel this dynamic shift beginning. And for those born between November 13th and 21st, you are transforming into someone of such intense emotional and spiritual depth that people will feel exposed just by being near you. Your ability to see through masks is becoming almost disturbing. You are becoming the purest, most powerful, most authentic version of yourselves. And this version isn't nice, it isn't convenient, it isn't easy to deal with. It's intense, it's demanding, it's magnetic, it's unsettling. It's the kind of person who changes the energy of any space they enter, who makes people question their own lives simply by contrast, who inspires a confusing mix of admiration, envy, desire, and fear in equal parts. Scorpio, they already know you're going to succeed. It's not hope or optimism on their part. It's absolute certainty. They can read the signs you don't even realize you're giving. The way you talk about your plans has changed. There's a new conviction in your voice that wasn't there before. The way you move through the world has changed. There's a new confidence in your steps that wasn't there 6 months ago. The way you position yourself has changed. There's a new clarity in your choices that reveals you finally know who you are and what you want. And what's most impressive to them, you stopped asking for permission. You stopped seeking external validation before acting. You stopped explaining your decisions to those who didn't ask for an explanation. You stopped justifying your existence to people who never deserved access to your inner life. You simply started doing what you need to do, the way you need to do it, when you need to do it. And this radical autonomy is the clearest sign of all that you are becoming someone they will no longer be able to manipulate, control, or diminish. They also already know that you're going to leave them behind. Not necessarily physically, but energetically and vibrationally. You're evolving to a level of consciousness and operation that simply doesn't have room for the old dynamics. For superficial conversations, for pointless dramas, for childish power games, for relationships based on convenience instead of real connection, and they feel they're being left behind, and that generates a toxic mix of resentment and a desire to pull you back. But here's what they don't understand. You can't go back. It's not that you don't want to, you literally can't. When a Scorpio goes through the process of true transformation, there's no going back. It's like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. You might miss the safety of the cocoon, but there's no physical way to fit back into it. You've passed the point of no return. The person you were is dead, and the person you're becoming is no longer compatible with the spaces, people, and situations that the old version tolerated. What you're becoming is someone who intimidates without even trying, not out of arrogance or aggression, but simply by existing at such a high frequency that people feel the difference when they're near you. It's like being next to someone vibrating at a different voltage. You may not see it with your eyes, but your nervous system detects it instantly. And this difference in frequency makes people feel uncomfortable, inadequate, exposed. Not because you're doing something to cause it, but because your mere presence acts as a mirror, reflecting all the areas where they are stagnant, complacent, living below their potential. Scorpio, you are becoming dangerous, not in the sense of causing physical harm, but in the sense of representing a threat to all the systems of mediocrity, falsehood, and superficiality that most people accept as normal. Your radical authenticity will expose the falsehood of others. Your depth will make the superficiality of others even more obvious. Your courage to live truthfully will highlight the cowardice of those who live on appearances. And nobody likes having their lies exposed, even if the exposure is only by contrast, not by direct confrontation. They already know you will achieve everything you are seeking. Not because you are lucky or privileged, but because you have developed something most people never develop: the ability to die and be reborn as many times as necessary, while others remain trapped in identities, possessions, situations, and relationships that no longer serve them because they are afraid of losing what they know. You have learned that you can let go of everything, watch everything crumble, go through absolute emptiness, and still be reborn stronger on the other side. This capacity for radical transformation is what will take you to places they will never reach, because real transformation requires symbolic death. It requires letting go of versions of yourself that you've spent years building. It requires abandoning emotional, temporal, and financial investments in things that no longer make sense. It requires the courage to say, "I was wrong" about things you've defended for a long time. It requires the humility to recognize that you need to change when it would be more comfortable to insist that everyone else needs to change. And you have that courage. They see it in you. They see that you're not afraid to start from scratch if necessary. You're not afraid to admit you need to learn what you don't know. You're not afraid to ask for help when you need it. You're not afraid to be vulnerable when vulnerability is the path to real growth. And that courage is exactly what will lead you to the inevitable success they can already foresee when they look at you. You are becoming someone who understands real power, not the performative power of someone who constantly needs to prove their strength, but the quiet power of someone who simply knows what they can do and doesn't need to convince anyone of it. The kind of power that comes from real competence, not empty self-promotion. The kind of power that is demonstrated through concrete results, not grandiose promises. The kind of power that makes people seek you out, choose you, value you, without you having to chase after them, begging for attention or recognition. They also already know that you're going to be ruthless, not cruel, but absolutely firm. You're developing the ability to say no without guilt, to cut ties without drama, to set boundaries without needing to justify yourself. To protect your energy without caring if it offends those who have become accustomed to having unlimited access to you. You're becoming someone who understands that boundless kindness is self-sabotage, that loyalty without reciprocity is stupidity, that forgiveness without behavioral change is permission to continue being disrespected. And this clarity about boundaries is transforming you into someone people can no longer use, manipulate, or exploit. They see this and know that the days of getting things from you through guilt, emotional pressure, or manipulation are over. You've developed an almost supernatural ability to detect falsehood, hidden intentions, and disguised agendas. Your intuition is operating at a level bordering on the paranormal, and they know they can no longer deceive you, even when they manage to deceive everyone around them. Scorpio, the transformation you're going through has a deep spiritual component that they can feel but can't name. You're connecting with something bigger than yourself, a force, a purpose, a mission that transcends purely personal or material ambitions. And this connection is giving you a sense of direction and certainty that's impossible to fake. They see this alignment growing within you and know that when someone is operating from this place of deep connection with purpose, they become virtually invincible. Because when you know you're doing what you came to do in this world, other people's opinions completely lose their power over you. When you feel aligned with your true calling, comparisons cease to make sense. When you understand that your life has a unique meaning that only you can fulfill, the need to compete or prove anything disappears completely. And they see you reaching that place of deep alignment, and they know that from there you will be unstoppable. You are becoming someone who no longer accepts living small. For how long did you diminish yourself to fit into spaces that were too small for you? How long did you hold back your voice so as not to disturb others? How long did you hide your talents so as not to overshadow others? How long did you accept less than you deserved because you were afraid of seeming demanding? All of that is over. You are expanding to the true size of your essence. And when a Scorpio allows themselves to occupy their full space, the presence that emerges is absolutely magnetic and impossible to ignore. They already know you're going to shine. Not a superficial attention-seeking glow, but an inner glow so intense that it naturally, inevitably attracts attention. The kind of glow that comes from someone living in complete alignment with their truth, who isn't playing a role or wearing masks, who is the same person in public and in private, who has real integrity, not just a carefully constructed image. And this kind of brilliant authenticity is so rare that when it appears, it's impossible not to notice. The fear they feel isn't fear that you'll hurt them. It's fear that you'll expose through your example everything they could be, but chose not to be. It's fear that your success will show that their excuses were just excuses. It's fear that your transformation will prove that real change is possible. And then they'll no longer be able to justify their own stagnation. It's fear that you'll reach the places they only dream of reaching, and that will force them to confront their own lack of courage. But their fear isn't your problem to solve. You're not transforming yourself to prove anything to anyone. You're not seeking success to make others feel small. You're simply becoming who you were always meant to be, and if that bothers someone, the problem is exclusively theirs. You no longer have the space or energy to carry the fears, insecurities, and projections of others. Your focus is completely directed towards your own evolution, and this singular determination is exactly what will take you where you need to go. Scorpio, in the coming months, this transformation that is already underway will become so obvious that even you will be surprised by the person you have become. You will look back and not recognize who you were 6 months ago, a year ago. The things that worried you before will seem irrelevant. The people you thought were essential will reveal themselves to be completely disposable. The dreams you had will seem too small for the expanded version of yourself that is emerging. And you will realize that all of this has always been available to you. You just needed to mature enough to claim it. They will continue watching. They will see you achieving what they said was impossible. They will see you thriving after situations they swore would destroy you. They will see you shining after periods so dark they thought you would never recover. And with each of your victories, they will understand a little more that they completely underestimated your capacity for transformation, that they bet against the wrong person, that they prematurely judged someone whose story was just beginning. And when you get there, and you will get there, there's no doubt about it, you'll discover something beautiful. You don't feel the need to rub it in anyone's face. You don't feel the need to insist on showing how well you're doing. You don't feel the need to prove anything, because when you truly win, when you truly transform, when you truly reach another level, success itself speaks for itself. Your life becomes the evidence. Your transformation becomes undeniable, and you don't need to say a word because your mere existence already communicates everything. What you are becoming is the version of yourself that you always knew existed beneath all the fear, all the doubt, all the conditioning. It's the complete Scorpion, uncensored, undeterred, unapologetic for existing in all its intensity. It's you operating at maximum power, aligned with purpose, connected to power, living in absolute authenticity. And this version of you is so magnificent that even you will need time to adjust. Share in the comments simply, "I already know what I'm becoming." You don't need to explain what. Just declare this inner certainty that your transformation is inevitable and irreversible. This affirmation will anchor your intention and create a wave of energy with other Scorpios who are also in this process. Subscribe to the channel, because in upcoming content, I'll give you specific tools to accelerate this transformation that's already happening. I'll show you how to use your natural intensity as a strategic advantage. I'll teach you how to protect your energy during the metamorphosis process. I'll guide you on how to deal with the envy and resistance that your evolution will inevitably generate. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any step of this ascension. This is what you will become, Scorpio, an unstoppable force, an irresistible magnetism, an unavoidable reference point, a version of yourself so powerful and authentic that your mere existence will inspire some and terrify others, and they already know it. They can already see it happening. They can already feel the shift in energy. And there's nothing they can do to stop it, because this transformation doesn't depend on them. It never has. It only depends on you continuing to do what you're already doing, dying to old versions and being reborn into ever more powerful versions. Keep going, don't stop. Your future self, the one that already exists as a possibility waiting to become reality, is counting on you.